some ponderings on hope today. I did a conversation a year or two ago, and 2 years ago, called Leaving Hope. It was about 6 minutes, and if you haven't heard that one, maybe revisit it, or if you've heard it before but not since then, maybe revisit it, or if you haven't heard it before now, maybe take a look, take a listen. It's about 6 minutes long. Yeah. I'm a little foggy right now because I had a procedure on my scalp. I've got a huge headache. I've got a migraine. Is the point. So anyway, I listened to that again because I was curious as to what I said and if what I have to explore right now is new or not. And it definitely is going in a different direction. So I'm glad I listened to that just to confirm. But basically, in that other podcast, I bring up, the Shawshank Redemption, and there are very strong thoughts and ideas and feelings about hope, and if it's a dangerous thing, if it's a positive thing, if it's the best of things. And this is coming up right now for me because as you'll see in the vlog, if you watch the vlog, I had some job opportunities today, like 2 different things on the horizon right now. And I guess this is really about hope and expectation and how I'm trying to find a healthy way to be positive and to also hope that I get these jobs without getting myself to a place that's a negative place where I will be crushed if I don't get them, right? If I don't get either of them. It's nice and it's positive and it's good to have that hope. And so kind of the other direction I wanted to take this to, that's different than last time, was there's this Bible verse, it's like in James somewhere, I don't know, but it's faith without works is dead, is basically what it says. Which, the way I interpret that is that faith without works basically means feelings without action. Having faith, belief in something without any action is not proper, and it's not what you're supposed to do. So, I just realized I still have this on. Sorry. Not sorry. This is my show. So, yeah, faith without works is dead. I kind of feel that way about hope, too, and positivity and optimism and all that stuff, is that you can't just sit around and hope that things go well and assume that they will and be positive. And no, like, inspiration must find you at work is the other thing, right? So you could just sit around hoping something good happens. No, you've got to go out and like make your own luck, right? And I have been doing what I can for a long time and really pushing forward this past year and a half, especially just like pushing hard to put myself in better positions for a career that is fulfilling and stable. And I've been doing what I can. And there's parts of me that always think, well, you could do more, you could do more, you could do more. You could always do more. And then there's a balance, right, of just like needing time to rest, needing time to recuperate, needing time to actually work to make money as well, needing time for mental health and advancement in other areas of my life, would be mental health and emotional health, physical health, relationship stuff, taking the time to have these other priorities too. And I feel like I've balanced that fairly well with work, or on the search for work. But anyway, these two job opportunities that came to me today. One is just I have an interview for a job that I'm excited about. Another one was just a screening call to figure out if I deserve an interview or not. And it sounded very positive. Obviously, I wouldn't have those opportunities if I didn't put in the work of applying and putting my best foot forward there. And what a dumb phrase. Sorry. Cliches sometimes are silly. But without doing the work necessary to do things like change up my cover letters and read things and update my resume properly and all those things, answer the questions that they ask, speak to their values, all those things that go into applying for a job when you're really serious about it. And I did all those things, and therefore I'm in the position I am now where I have these opportunities. However, I've had these opportunities plenty of times this past year. Not plenty, a handful of times. And there were some that I felt really, really, really good about. There were 2 interviews that I had that I felt so good about. And both of them, I never heard back as to why I didn't get that job. One of them never got back to me at all, even though I requested that. The other one, they asked if I wanted to discuss things further, like, and kind of know why I wasn't selected, and I said yes. And I called them back, and then I left a message saying, yeah, I would definitely love that. You can give me a call back when you're available. Never heard back from them again. And then I had another interview that went really well, and they told me, like, the next day, like, hey, just someone else, this was their major, and it was just your minor, and, like, you had a great interview. Nothing negative to say. If we have a job, if you see a job and you're still looking for one that is your major, please apply. So that was good, but it wasn't useful either. Like, it was positive, or you could say it was useful in the fact that I had some information and they told me that there was nothing else I could really have done better and that it went well, but it was just the major minor thing, and that's all it came down to at the end of the day. But there's a part of me that feels like, oh, it's just me. It must be me. Anyway, get back on track with hope and expectations. And I don't feel that positive about either of these jobs right now, but that's not a good thing. I want to go into these interviews. Man, there was another one. I just realized. I had another 2 interviews that I felt really good about, and one of them was the organization pushed me to apply for a job, saying, hey, you didn't get this one, you interviewed really well, you didn't get this one, we got this other job, though, you should definitely apply. And I did, and I got an interview, and then not selected. So, right now, I don't feel super positive, and I don't feel super hopeful. I feel like these are good things that have come my way, that these opportunities are there, that I created by again, doing that work. But I'm trying to figure out how to balance. Like, I want to be optimistic and excited and have good, positive energy when I go into these interviews, but I also don't want to be so let down because I'm so exhausted by it. The amount of time and energy put into making applications and doing the research and sitting down to do that, like, it's not easy for me. Like, I get really stressed out about job searching. I don't like it. I don't like making new cover letters. All those things are just really arduous for me, and I do it. But the other part of that plays a role is that I also have to sacrifice a day of work every time I go to a job interview because none of them are during hours that are after school. They're not during after school hours, and they're not on weekends. And therefore, I mean, with the nature of subbing, I don't know whether or not I'm working or not. So I have to say, yeah, I can come in that day. Yeah, it's at 11 o'clock. Okay, sounds good. And then I get a call that morning or the night before, and I'm like, I can't take it. I'm in a really bad financial position right now. And it's just frustrating that I haven't, like, that's $200 a day that I miss every time I'm not working. And sometimes I just don't get a call. There's no work to be had sometimes. And that's happening more and more and more, unfortunately. But then there's times like, what if I have a doctor's appointment? What if I, and with job interviews, like, I'm doing my due diligence and doing my best to get out of this position I'm in. But in the short term, if I don't get that job, I threw away $200. Sometimes not, because sometimes I don't get a call anyway. But, I've got this one job interview, and the other one, if they call me back saying they want an interview, I hope I can make it happen on the same day so that I'm not throwing away another $200, right? Like, and that's something that I think as a person in a position to hire, I would hope that they are cognizant of that. Like, they're not giving any availability to people to interview outside of their workday, unless you're working graveyards, right? And thus, I am choosing to sacrifice a day's worth of pay that goes towards my gas, groceries, rent, food, whatever, in order to take a shot at this job. and I could do my best and I could do everything I need to do and still not get it. And that's really exhausting after a long time. And so that is the context in which I'm thinking about hope and expectation. And I think that it just comes back to that word expectation, and that I can hope for it. I can be like, yeah, I really hope I get this job. Yep. And just, but that's like right here, it's not up here. I'll be like, yeah, I'm doing the best I can. I checked off all the boxes. I did what I needed to do, and I hope I get it, and I'm going to go and just do what I need to do. But I'm also prepared for the fact that I may do all that work for nothing. But when I add that part in, it takes me away from the neutral, just like, hey, this is the reality, this is what it is, and puts me into this sucks, and this is a horrible feeling, and I've had this happen before, and I don't know how to stay here. With like, hey, you did what you had to do. This is what you're doing. You're doing the right thing. Doing the right thing doesn't matter at the end of the day. Me doing the right thing is still going to be, I can't pay rent. Like, and so that is where I don't know how to, because going all the way up here and being like, yeah, it's going to be awesome, blah, 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 I can't. Because then I'm not there anymore, just naturally. I'm not even having to try to stop myself consciously. I'm not there because I've been there. And I rocked these interviews, didn't get selected, and not even told why for some. And then I'm in a position where I'm like, hey, this feels like garbage, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Whereas if I can lower my expectations, and that's the other thing, like, I don't know, I was going in there so positive and just so, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed or whatever, like, I was just, like, ready to rock, like, and I did really well in these interviews, and because I know I did well, I thought that should count for something, and it didn't. It's just such a, like, how do I not, like, shouldn't I be putting 100% of myself in, right? Being like, no, I'm getting it. I'm getting this job. You know how many times I've done that? And it hasn't worked out? I can't do that anymore. I don't have it in me. But if I don't do that, then what kind of energy am I giving off? It's another Shawshank thing, right? Like when Red's up for parole, time and time again. And at the end, he's just like, you just stamp your little form, Sonny, and leave me the hell alone. It's not verbatim what he says, but close enough. And then he gets out. And then it's because of that truth. This is a different scenario. But I just don't want to have to act, and I don't know where I'm at. And again, that hope and expectations. And like how do I have hope for something without expecting it? That is what I'm trying to find the balance of. Like, I really hope I get this, but I understand if I don't. And it's like, yeah, there's always going to be someone better, and therefore they got it, they deserved it, great. I'm not angry, but I'm really frustrated and upset that I can't seem to break through. And I still have not arrived at a place where I can not feel the weight of that. I think that if I had a job interview every single week, then it'd be easier to not just put all my eggs in one basket, not have that hope, that desperation. I'd be like, one of these is going to land. If it's not this one, hey, I got one next week, or I got two this week, so you know what? It's okay. Like, I think that would be easier. But then at a certain point, how many weeks go by when you're just like, hey, someone's got to land here, and that's where I'm at. I don't really have anything else to say. I just realized I just kind of ranted about it, and I still haven't come to a place where I feel I don't know what to do. I don't know how to put myself in that place. I don't know how to balance hope and expectation in a positive way where I'm not so let down or devastated by not getting these jobs.